Hello, this is Victor at RestoreYourMercedes.com. Today we have a wiring harness that I just finished rebuilding it for Alain in Connecticut. Now, first things first, this is part number, well, it came from a 95, I believe, 9495 SL500 Mercedes. Part number is, as you can see, it 129-540-7705. Now, production date is, let's see if I can focus a little better, 12th month of 1993. Maybe actually wait, 95, 5th month of 95. Okay, so this car is a 95, and there's another part number written on the main connector on top, 129-540-7705. Okay, so this is the SL V8 engine harness. A very similar harnesses will be found on S420s, S500, but there are different part numbers, and there's also differences on some pins on those harnesses and lengths, of course, different engine base. So this harness, now it came in, of course, with wires deteriorating. It wasn't as horrible as I've seen, but yes, there were clearly insulation missing on some injectors. So obviously all the wires were replaced, and basically what I do is I go directly from the pin. I have pin removal tools to get the connector pins out, and new wires run. So as you can see, this is the connector, still original, so this is how it looks. The camshaft position sensors usually don't go bad, so I don't touch these. So the wire length is preserved. All plastic pieces are actually survived. They have survived removal. So this is how it goes on the valve cover. There is a low retainer on the passenger side valve cover. The top portion goes all the way to the front of the engine, and now we have this portion to go across. Let's see how it goes. Lay it down right. Okay, so we have sort of few sections here. Now, something like this it's gonna look on the vehicle. Something like that. Okay, so here we have sections broken down. This is your passenger side bank cylinders. You have cylinders 1 to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and your camshaft advancer on the passenger side. Now this was a little cut. The outer shield was cut a little bit, so I taped it. Again, connections go directly to pins, soldered directly to pins. For injectors, I do retain original sleeves. All of these sleeves are original. This is how exactly it came from the factory. I did reuse them, so you preserve the length exact and make it look pretty much about 95% factory. Once you open the hood, you don't see a bunch of wires all over taped together. This is a different tape, Tessa tape. Usually you find this in BMWs. Very nice tape, so I like using this versus regular hockey tape, because it sort of fuses material, is cloth, and it's very strong, it's nice. It's very difficult to untape it because the way it is designed to be. Overall, it's kind of difficult to get all these wires to be exactly right, especially given that all the sleeves and all these little covers are to be preserved. But that's what I do. I mean, I get them done to specification exactly. So let's look at one of the injectors. As you can see, original grommets on injectors are also preserved. Those blue things, those are seals, so moisture doesn't get inside the connector. Again, I remove pins. I crimp the wire to the pin and then solder it over, and then put all the pieces back together. So this is our passenger side. Connectors all done the same. Wires I always do same color, but I do double check, of course, to make sure each and every connector corresponds to the proper pin on your main connector. Otherwise there will be a problem. So and different cars, like I said, different pinouts. So this has to be preserved. So that was all double checked. Going down to the center rail, this is the center rail that you're going to find more on the passenger side, kind of. And this houses our ground that goes on the valve cover. Actually, on the intake manifold somewhere there's a connection bolt that you put this ground. This is the ground for mass airflow sensor. This is our mass airflow sensor connector. Again, down to the pins, all the way. Original sleeves. Actually, there's a double sleeve on this one. Some of them come single sleeve, but this one is double sleeve to protect it from extra heat because it sits right on the intake manifold. Going further down, we have our temperature sensor also soldered directly to pins. We have our camshaft sensor. With this one, again, I don't touch. Usually they never go bad. Even if it would to go bad, you can always bypass it. But I just like to preserve original sheeting because I never see those things go bad. This one is our temperature sensor on your instrument cluster to show temperature of the coolant on your instrument cluster. This one was broken, so I put new connector on this one. This is our engine coolant temperature for auxiliary fans. Okay, so that's for the electric fans. A mechanical fan is mechanical, and for electric fans to activate, this is the plug for that. Now you're gonna have a bypass going across intake manifold on the other side of the motor, and these are our other 4 injectors along with camshaft advancer. So again, all the sleeves are preserved. Some of them were pulled out a little more, but I do preserve the wire length, so therefore there is a little bit of a space here and here as opposed to, let's say, here. But this is exactly how long wires were, so it could have been that the sleeve deformed a little bit because if I pull it, as you can see, it stretches, but with age I believe it just shrank a little bit. But we do want wire to be long enough to reach the actual injector, otherwise it's going to be a problem also. So these injectors done the same way, and of course camshaft advance connectors were also broken, so I put in new connectors on camshafts and our auxiliary fan temperature sensor. So both camshaft connectors done, temperature sensor connector done, all of these wires are finished, and it's basically ready to go. Again, these are all original sleeves, so when you open the hood it looks like the harness is factory, not wrapped all over the place, zip tied and whatnot, it cannibalized. So that's what I like doing. It does take a long time. This one took me 3 days to do, so it is a lengthy process, but again the end result is the harness that's going to basically last forever at this point, because the wires I use are high temperature military spec cables. They actually withstand fire, so it's something that I would probably would melt the injector holder or whatever's plastic versus the wire itself, because the insulation is superior. Plus it is a composite material in the actual metal where it resists corrosion, chemicals, gasoline, well, you name it, extreme temperature changes. So it's a great cable. So those are very nice. And of course the tape, that's the factory tape that many dealers use, and all the plastics are all preserved, so this one looks great. It's not the cheapest repair, but this is what you get. You can get it probably somewhere cheaper done, but it's gonna be horribly looking. But this one looks as it looks. This is just finished, and nothing is broken. Everything is nice and tight. You can pull on these, not gonna come out. These are more delicate, unfortunately, because they were molded but from factory, but I make them strong enough so you can pull on them, so you have some leeway, not like they're just going to separate once I try to tug on them. You see, I'm tugging a little bit, but obviously if you're gonna pull it with 2 hands with all your strength, we might be able to pull those out, but that's understandable. Even originals you could have done that. Alright, so this is it. Basically this is all finished. Now I'm gonna go down to checking the throttle body for the same customer, and we'll be good to go. Alright, again, this is the Mercedes-Benz SL500. I believe it is a 95 based on the production date, and the part number I already said in the beginning of the video. This is what I do. For more repairs on the wiring harnesses for Mercedes and other cars, visit my website at restoreyourmercedes.com. Thank you for watching.